Add-ons play a critical role in the world of Warcraft. They enhance gameplay, improve quality of life, and offer a wide variety of customization options. World Quest Group Finder and similar add-ons have been a hit with players specific to the World of Warcraft Legion. With this kind of add-on, players were able to move around the Broken Isles zones and quickly be placed in a group upon entering a world questing area. This in turn fed into a relatively seamless experience to bring players together to complete a common goal. It wasn't a perfect add-on by any means. Some players found the add-on could be used to take advantage of other players simply by being in the vicinity of a quest area to receive credit. Blizzard itself experienced latency and other server problems. This and other add-ons presumably disrupted the game systems meant to regulate zone populations in a given area. But it was later remedied by Blizzard, and directions were given to help these types of add-ons work in a more friendly manner with game systems. So this begs the question, since Blizzard is not interested in outright killing the ability for these add-ons to work. Does Blizzard like the idea behind this add-on, and could it be adopted in the near future as a built-in feature? Hey, it's Soul, and this is the World of Warcraft. Today's video is going to explore the possibilities behind a fully supported system like World Quest Group Finder that'll both replace it and improve on its capability. Blizzard has done this before, and the add-on OQ comes to mind. OQ was an add-on that helped facilitate grouping across realms and provided numerous features and bells and whistles. Pleased with this implementation and curious about its potential, Blizzard disabled OQ's ability to work and develop its own in-house tool, which would later be called the pre-made group tool. So we know that Blizzard is certainly capable of taking this approach to a feature they think could work as a first-party system, and for the rest of this video we're going to call this technology auto-grouping. Let's talk about how and where this technology will be used. As you've experienced in the Broken Isles, there were certain areas flagged as bonus objectives throughout the leveling experience, with other areas flagged for the World Quest system. Auto-grouping can occur in these types of questing areas where multiple players enter the same area after opting into the system through an interface option of sorts. And speaking for myself, I think that auto-grouping should be a feature that players don't have to be forced into without being at a big disadvantage. Some players enjoy questing at their own pace, even if it might be slower to do it alone. This also means that players shouldn't necessarily be getting in each other's way because of tagging rules or slow respawns, as it sometimes happens. Under the premise that there will be many more full groups participating in these kinds of quests, I suggest relaxing mob tagging a little bit more. I'd also suggest an approach to be more consistent with interactable objects and other quest objectives that give credit to party members. We've seen that some quest objectives, World Quest or otherwise, share objects that everyone can click and receive credit for, while others have objects that players have to sort of fight for. Ultimately, the experience should be seamless. A player enters a World Quest area and they're notified that they've been put into a group. Once the quest is completed, you're also prompted to leave the group, or you can stick around. There are technical hurdles to overcome that are way beyond my expertise regarding networking, matchmaking, and all the technology behind phasing and sharding and cross-realm zones or whatever. When an auto group is formed, there's a question to answer regarding which realm will this party go to, but basically Blizzard will need to find a way to get auto grouping and sharding to just play nice together. A big question to ask is if every world quest should have an auto grouping feature, and well, my opinion is no. One reason is because there are some quests that really are just soloable, like the Kirin Tor world quest, so that wouldn't make a lot of sense. There are other quests like picking nuts and fighting murlocs that are trivial enough that they don't need a group to complete, but having to arbitrarily choose which quest should have an auto group feature would end up being a tedious argument. My reasoning behind this thought process at all is almost entirely personal, but I miss having more actual group-specific outdoor content. The idea of group quests has sort of blurred over time within the World of Warcraft. Once upon a time, elite quests felt too demanding for solo players and pretty much necessitated grouping. But from expansion to expansion, toolkits improved and gear accessibility allowed players to outpace, even trivialize world content by themselves, even at early stages. Currently, there's a form of item level scaling on the Broken Isles to help shorten the gap between well-geared players and the world quests that they complete. As things are now though, nearly all world quests are soloable, and in a group they're downright trivial. And don't get me wrong, maybe that's okay for Blizzard and the vast majority of players. So these are the world quest difficulties we see now: normal, rare, and epic quality quests. They have their own quest type, like filling up a bar, killing certain targets, clicking certain things, or lay races, and so on. As the difficulty level goes up, it becomes more beneficial or even necessary to group up. Keep in mind though that I'm not talking about the mere convenience of grouping to get quests done faster. Just like Flight, I'd like to think that grouping shouldn't just be a convenience, but in some cases be necessary to overcome certain outdoor content, unless of course your gear vastly outstrips the task. Auto-grouping, when it's done right, will make outdoor content completion go by much faster, just like now, and that approach ought to be preserved. But it also ought to add something more to give it an additional meaning. Using Legion as an example, we already see that rare mobs that are used for world quest objectives have more life and deal more damage to give a more appropriate difficulty for the reward that you get. What if certain kinds of quests could sometimes spawn as elite quests too? These sorts of world quests would probably need to be the kinds that aren't too close to leveling areas, otherwise low-level characters could suddenly get stomped by a bunch of elite mobs that were manageable just a moment before. Some of these exist now, like the Helajar and the Direbeak Swarm quests. I think future versions of these out-of-the-way quests could be a little bit more demanding in such a way that it's strongly encouraged to take these on as a group. That's just one example of a neat thing that Blizzard can do in a WoW where grouping happens more often, but to be honest, that would be entirely up to them. It's them that have the data and the metrics to see how often grouping happens in world quests, but I have a small feeling that it's pretty common, especially thanks to add-ons that facilitate it. The World of Warcraft is meant to be enjoyed however you want it to be, whether you're alone or with friends or with a stranger you ran into who shares a common goal with you. Auto-grouping as a technology isn't entirely my cup of tea when it comes to meaningful relationship building within games, but if Blizzard can overcome their technical difficulties, I think it'd make an overall positive impact on the game and help the world feel more cooperative than just competitive. Share your thoughts and stay breezy.